in the history of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We are here at the Lausitzring. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for the second round of this series. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Welcome to the famous Lausitzring. Of course, we got the DTM and of course we got the GT Masters also here. So it's a fully packed race weekend, but we are really looking forward to see our trucks back on this track after a stunning first day and a very good performance from every team. Kish dominated the first race after not making it quite on pole on qualifying, but then dominating the race. And the second race, we got René Reinert. He's been absent for 3 years, but entering the podium, first place, first position, celebrating with his family. Stunning images we had for you, of course, and we are really looking forward to this first qualifying on this Sunday, and of course this three-stage qualifying, because we want to spice it up, ladies and gentlemen, and the last part of it will determine the first to sixth position for this qualifying and who will end up first on pole position on this grid. We are really looking forward, and we like to welcome, of course, our commentators. But first we want to see René Reinert. We wanted to talk to him, of course, but we talked ahead of his victory about his entry right now as a full driver, full season driver, and we're absolutely thrilled to see him back here in our pack. After being absent from the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, René Reinert is back, everyone. And of course, he's been on the podium at Misano, so he's been very successful at the first race weekend and the second race weekend right now here at the Lausitzring. This is a region very familiar to you. Yeah. What does it mean racing here?
Yeah, Lausitz is my home. You know, I'm growing up here and living not far away from here, and in Cottbus it's around 40 kilometers. So Lausitzring, I know it from the beginning. You know, I helped with my trucks for my logistic company, you know, to make some transports here. What built up in the end of the 90s, the Lausitzring, and after I visited also the races.
And maybe the shape of this truck is very familiar for all of us, but the color is different right now. Let's have a look. That's Baloo Senior. Tell us about it.
Have a look. It's Norby's truck from the last years. Yeah, Baloo Senior. That's right. The color is not red anymore. It's blue. I think it's the same, nice like before. Maybe nicer.
Maybe Norby Kish would say differently, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's a very nice truck. Very important for me. It was all the time clear. It makes no sense to buy a truck without any help, you know, from them. So and this is what we also could then agree that they will support us from the technical side, and also Norby from the driver's side. With Norby, for me it's a big thing. We share the data. I can watch this data. He's not interesting on my, but
maybe here at Lausitzring, because you've been racing here before on this racetrack.
Yes.
So did he ask maybe for a small detail of your data from that? No.
We went yesterday evening 2 laps together, you know, with a scooter on the track, but he has his own plan, you know, and you see it already. It's 1 second of everybody else, and so it's okay.
And also driving this truck, there comes a big, huge responsibility, because everyone knows the machine is quite all right. Mm-hmm. So how do you deal with the pressure, like performing yourself as a driver then?
Yeah, this was also for me, I was thinking a lot about this, and I decided for me to make no pressure, you know. I said, okay, when we come back, firstly we want to have fun, you know, and have a good time here and enjoy all the things also around, because there's a lot of nice things, you know, and because if you start to make pressure for yourself, I make it long time in my whole life in the business and also in the racing, so it's at the end it's not good.
What is the best part of this truck for you?
Difficult to say. And I was sitting in Most, you know, at the first test what we had, and I felt after 3 laps I felt good, you know, and
And you've been absent 3 years and coming back to this performance.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
It was really good feeling from the beginning, and it's still like that. It's special and many times. So I also adapt a lot, my driving style and change a little bit. But yeah, it's a perfect truck. So it makes really fun to drive it, and this needs some laps, to learn all the small things, and also the popometer, it's very important. But it comes step by step.
Yeah, absolutely. We want one thing left, because Balou Senior, I mean, yes, the name is all right, but do you have a new name maybe for the truck?
No.
Shall we ask the audience then?
We will let it we will let it like that. We will let the name, it's just a question of respect, this truck with this name and so many victories already, so I think it's not good to change the name. We will let it.
So guys and girls, Balou Senior it is, but Senior is very fresh on the tracks right now, so back to the grid.
Thanks very much, René Reinert and Christina. It was fantastic to hear from him after his success here yesterday at the Lausitzring. Speaking of yesterday, here are some of the wonderful pictures that took place. And, of course, we had brilliant racing throughout. Everybody was excited to come here for this second race meeting of the 2025 season. And with race 2 underway with Bradley Smith and Mark Taylor on the front row, it was looking like a good chrome battle. But Bradley used his head. He may have lost a number of positions to the Titan drivers, but in the Chrome Championship, it was all important. He held on to important points, and it meant that he would stay right up there in the fight with Mark. There was a wonderful scrap going through with the likes of Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm, Norbert Kish, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Sascha Lenz, René Reinert as well. René was really methodical in his drive through the order, waiting for perfect opportunities to gain places, and he would then make his way past the likes of Sascha Lenz, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and eventually into turn 8 past Mark Taylor. Mark then had to hold on against his teammate Jose Eduardo Rodriguez for the rest of the fight, while Jochen Hahn tried to battle it out with Steffi Halm without letting through Norbert Kish. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work as Norby made his way through. Antonio Albacete tried to get through as well. Stefan Faas with another unfortunate retirement. But it was Mark Taylor at the very sharp end of the order with a great win in the Chrome class. Second place overall, but a win for René Reinert. René is back, everybody. Let's head back down to Christina and see what she's up to now.
Yes, this is my favorite position because I'm standing right in front of the trucks lining up, of course, in championship order for entering the qualifying. And as you can see, Jochen Hahn, he's 6-time champion. Alongside Norbert Kish, he's also 6-time champion. This is the battle in between those two. And of course, the battle for the pole position is very important for the team, for Hahn Racing on Team Reves. And I think they are absolutely well prepared. And as you can see, then there's a Freightliner Tank Pool T with Stefan Faas. He had some quite problems during this weekend, but he managed to finish the last race, and we see him there with this beautiful shaped truck there. That's good news, everyone. So all the manufacturers are represented here right now. There are the MAN, the Freightliner, the Iveco, and it's really good to see. And then we got the leader of the pack entering right now, Norbert Kish. And as soon as he enters this pack, they are gone on to the track, and this is when we welcome our commentators, Fonsi Cebrian in Spanish, Joachim Eberts in German, and Chaz Drakert, you heard him.
Thank you, Christina. Yes, it's time for qualifying number 2 for the weekend. Unfortunately, with qualifying taking place on Friday for the first 2 races of the weekend, we didn't get a chance to have it broadcasted here at the Lausitzring. Seems like there's a bit of a strange situation going on here. I think Sascha Lenz is being asked to move. No, Louis Requenco has been asked to go into the left-hand lane. I think there's a little bit of disorganisation going on there at the moment. A Grello flag up in the grandstands there. The signature colour of Valentino Rossi. You can see some of the fans wearing that similar colour around there as well. But yeah, a few of the trucks now waiting to leave the pit lane. It seemed like the top 3 already left, but I don't think they've completely gone past the end of the pit lane. Stefan Faas is not moving anywhere at the moment, but I don't think he's been instructed to do so. The T-Sport Burnout guys moving over to Antonio Albacete, just making sure that everything is all good. I wonder whether the top 3 have gone all the way down. I think that's Steffi Helm. It's not Steffi Helm, sorry. That is Stefan Faas. I should have known the helmet design. Okay. It's René Reinert we were waiting for. So he was at the front of the pack yesterday, but now everybody's waiting for him this time round. Stefan has definitely not gone out in championship order, but I think it was mainly just the front few that they were worried about in this circumstance. And everybody is back out on track once more here at the Lausitzring. I hope you've been enjoying the coverage again this weekend. It's been really good fun so far. Everybody's excited to be here for a second German round of the championship. We, of course, head to the Nürburgring later on this season in the middle of the July. You can tell it's an early morning here in the UK. We'll be heading there for the ADAC International Truck Grand Prix, the crown jewel on the event of the European truck racing calendar. And again, we are mighty excited to be heading there and see what it has in store this time round. Everybody trying to find their own piece of track for qualifying 1. So all of the trucks will go out on circuit this time round. For this weekend, we have 15 of them. And then once we finish qualifying 1, we will lose the bottom 3. They will be fixed in their grid positions, basically. And the top 12 will then move forward into qualifying 2. They will then try and set fast lap times once again. And then we will go and whittle that down to the top 6. And then they will have just a 5-minute session at the end to try and get a lap on the board. It's not the longest lap on the calendar around here, so they may be able to get 2 laps in. Just having a quick look to see how many they got in during... Yeah, they actually got nearly 3 laps in, actually, during qualifying 3 on Friday. So here we go, then. Norbert Kish crosses the line. Jochen Hahn behind. And then Steffi Helm in 3rd place. René Reinert's got quite a lot of real estate around him right now. So he's in a good position to try and move forward. Or at least he's, well, in a good position to set an undisturbed lap time through turns 1 and 2. Much like yesterday, both the races will start under yellow flag conditions into turn 1, so no overtaking. And then the race will continue on from there with turns 2 and 3. Norbert Kish making his way down into the very interesting turn 6. It's an incredibly wide corner on the way in, but then it narrows on the exit there as you go back onto the infield section of the track. The banking's so much wider than the infield, so it makes it very interesting to sort of try and judge the gap. Told as well that Luke Garrett and Bradley Smith were sort of later than everybody else getting onto the circuit, but they've made their way on just now. Just checking the sector times, and there's been a purple second sector from Jochen Hahn, quicker than Norbert Kish. Sasha Lenz has done a purple sector 1. Bradley Smith apparently doing a purple sector 3 on that outlap. So he's absolutely flying. Norbert Kish crosses the line, puts in a 1:47.3. Jochen Hahn half a second off. That first sector was really decisive for Norbert. Actually, the final sector was really quick as well. Steffi Helm goes 3rd. René Reinert 4th now. He's nearly a second off. What about Sasha Lenz? He goes up into 2nd place, beats Jochen Hahn by 0.03 of a second. Very fittingly for Sasha Lenz. Truck 3 beats Jochen Hahn to P3 by 0.03. Very close stuff. Rikwenko goes 6th ahead of Stefan Faas, who goes sideways through turn 1. Clemens Hecker finds himself in 8th place, and you'll see now that a lot of the trucks will slow down for a lap or so. And any of those that want to go back out there will then get back on it and push. But a lot of them, with their lap times there, will be very comfortable to know that they're going to be inside the top 12. John Newell has just gone 10th fastest. Sasha Lenz under investigation for a penalty marker, I'm hearing. Thanks again to Alice Holloway, who is in race control for this weekend, giving us consistent updates on any investigations, any potential penalties, any goings on that basically we can't see from here. Christian Ruppert has gone 12th fastest at the moment. We wait to see what Bradley Smith can do. Luke Garrett as well. But we have only the 14 drivers out on track at the moment. No Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Not sure where he may be at the minute, unfortunately. He's definitely not out on track just yet. Bradley Smith crosses the line into 9th place. So behind Mark Taylor and behind Louis Requenco. Louis got some great pace here this weekend at the Lausitz-Ring. There's John Newell, 13th at the moment, just on the outer brink of basically not making it through into Q2. Like I said at the end of yesterday's action, though, John is right there in the fight. He's not far off in the championship hunt at the moment. If we look at it in Chrome, he's only 13 points off the top spot, is John. And you can get 20 points for a class win in race 1. So he's not a world away from everybody else right now. It's just that he hasn't quite been on the podiums this season. He's had 1 podium to his name, 6 top 5s. He's had the most top 5s of any driver, actually, because all the others have either had DNFs or one sort of off race here and there. I think Bradley Smith had a 7th place in class after a penalty. So John has had the most consistency in terms of his results. It's just none of them have been particularly groundbreaking. He's had 4 4th places so far, so he keeps just missing out on podiums. So because we don't see him on those podiums, obviously it's not as on the radar that he's been right up at the sharp end of the Chrome class. But John and his team, all absolute fighters. We love having them as part of the championship. He first joined us a few seasons ago at Le Mans to see what it was all about. He absolutely loved it, and he's continued to compete from there. He's always very complimentary of the presentation of the championship and just how top drawer everything is, from the organisation side with having the FIA on board to even just the presentation of all the trucks as well. We have a very beautiful grid and a well-prepared grid as well. And the drivers take great pride, and their teams, of course, take great pride in upholding that high quality. John Newell then, 37.082 in the first sector. That's a personal best from him. Round the long sweeping turn 7. He shares the circuit at the moment with Clemens Hecker, Luke Garrett, Christian Ruppert. They're all out there on the track, but I think some of them going slowly just to see and just to be there to respond in case there's any improvement from other drivers. Luke Garrett has gone 11th. And who is that that's dropped down? Clemens Hecker, I think, has had a time deleted. Yes, he has indeed. So he's still out on the circuit, but he needs to get back on it now and set a new representative lap time. It's not an improvement in the second sector for John. He's done a 29.45 there. Luke Garrett has also done his personal best in the first sector as well. And apologies to Sasha Lenz and the crew, because it wasn't them under investigation. It was the number 25, which was Clemens Hecker. So Sasha's time is doing all right. John's time, I'm not sure if it's this one or the one that he's already set, will be deleted for a penalty marker, unfortunately. He's moved up into 12th place. But, well, actually, he only moved up because Clemens Hecker got his time deleted. It's no improvement from John. He did a 1:54.9 then, so I don't know if he backed off in that final sector to try and improve. Christian Ruppert, new to truck racing this year. He told us at Misano that he's done sidecar racing before, or he's raced in the Dakar Rally as well. He's raced in motocross also. So he's definitely, as I kept saying at Misano, he's got the right screw loose, for sure, as Christian Ruppert, but he looks like a great character to have as well. We interviewed him at Misano, and he's got such a great mindset for this sort of racing. And on a personal note, I thoroughly look forward to meeting him later this season at the Nürburgring as well. He really encapsulates the fun and positive approach that everybody has to truck racing. It's a very unique corner of motorsport that we all live in, and we absolutely love doing it. Christian in this MAN. I believe it's an ex-Sascha Lenz MAN. So you know it's well built. Sascha completely renowned for his truck building abilities. I believe Baloo Senior, that is now in the hands of René Reiner and won multiple championships with Norbert Kish, was originally built by Sascha. I think he built the roll cage and the chassis of it. We're going to go back down to Christina, who's in the pit lane. There's a lot of trucks in there at the moment, I imagine.
Yes, but we missed one truck. It's the truck from Stefan Faas. But the team is at the tent. They're fixing a small issue, and they're absolutely confident re-entering because they also qualified for Q2. So there is no need to worry and no need to hurry. I think they were really in a good mood, the team, but they need to do some fixing. The doors open here at Steffi Harm's truck, and absolutely curious, how is it going for her? Habt ihr kurz Zeit? Steffi, how's it going so far?
Yeah, for the moment, it was just Q1. We tried something with the setup. That's why I tried to find the limit of the truck. At the moment, it looks not so bad. I hope we can continue like that. We will see.
I think the weather conditions are very fine for the tire management also. How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, for sure. At the moment, it's dry, but the weather forecast says that maybe we will get some rain. I think the whole field will shake down again after it because nobody of us was driving before in the wet condition. And for sure here it will be very, very slippery, so it will be very interesting when it's getting wet.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, because they do have all-weather tires. The components are very good for every weather, but of course if it's raining too much, none of this will hold. But fingers crossed, Chaz, it's going to be good weather today, I'm convinced.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. I'm happy to report that back here in the UK it's nice and sunny this morning, so what a shame. But at the moment, Norbert Kish is fastest with Sascha Lenz in second place, Jochen Hahn in third, Steffi Halm fourth, Antonio Albacete in fifth. Then it's René Reinert, Louis Requenco, Mark Taylor, Bradley Smith, Stefan Faas, Clemens Hecker and Luke Garrett currently heading through into the next session. Clemens Hecker has now put an 11th place time on the board, so he now puts himself in the right spot to go through. John Newell crosses the line. No improvement from him on that lap by the look of it. He was 19 thousandths of a second off from his best, but he had his previous lap time still kept on the board. I think it was the one that we were watching him do. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has had it confirmed by race control that he will not take part in this session, and they'll need to send in some paperwork to basically ask if they can take part in race 3. Can we come out and play, please? So I'm not sure what that is, but Alice has confirmed that she's going to go and find out for us in the paddock and speak to Jose Eduardo. He had a bit of a rough day yesterday. Oh, hello, that was a rough moment there for John Newell. See how much it bounced over that bump on the exit of turn 6. The truck was all over the place. Surprised the front axle didn't pop off it then. It was absolutely flying. But again, it just shows you how much punishment these trucks can take on these circuits. There's always quite the paradox with these machines. They are huge, 5-ton, multiple thousand horsepower and torque figure machines. But they can be so fickle and fragile underneath sometimes. You know, you clip a curb slightly wrong, you overdo it and it upsets the camber of the machine. It can snap a component as easily as it can on a Formula or GT car. But at the same time then, they can absolutely smack into each other. As we saw at Misano with Antonio Albacete and Luke Garrett, they can have a big old impact, completely, misshape the cab, knock a door off, and they'll still race. They'll still be drivable and continue on. It really is quite interesting to see what keeps these things down sometimes. Here comes John Newell then across the line once more. 15 seconds on the clock, and it was not an improvement for him. 1:52.7. He was saying that he and Sascha Lenz were struggling with the balance of the truck. Here's that bounce again. Look at that there. It's like driving over a landmine on the exit of turn 6. I know that sometimes circuits take it seriously to avoid people going outside of track limits, but yeah, looks like there's some sort of explosive devices down at turn 6. That was crazy. Christian Ruppert crosses the line. No improvement for him that time round, a 155.2. But he's just in the mindset of enjoying himself out there and continually improving his pace, getting used to the truck itself. At the end of the day, it's his first foray into truck racing, and he's gone right into the deep end, right into the sharp end in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. A lovely drone shot here as we chase John Newell. How cool is that? Things you love to see. That is awesome. Awesome stuff. It's like playing a video game, isn't it? In chase cam. We do need a good Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship racing game again. There used to be a video game for the championship as well, but I think that was as far back as 2015 or 16 maybe. Maybe a little bit later than that, actually. There are some wonderful mods by the likes of Gero Mulkow and the wonderful people at Virtual Racing that do the virtual European Truck Racing Championship, or sorry, the virtual Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship over winter, where you'll also find yours truly commentating as well. We're going to go back into the pit lane and we're going to speak to Clemens Hecker, who's currently on his way through to Q2.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we needed duct tape right there, but the clamp is back on. It's freshly made, but we want to hear, of course, from... Hello, good morning. How's it going? Everything fixed? No duct tape needed this morning?
No, we fixed it, and so I got it moved back, and we catch a corner marker in the first one, but right now the time was not too bad. We're on 11, so next turn.
How can you improve maybe some seconds?
Right. So it was a pretty good time. We have to see what the front tires are doing, because we got 2 fast laps right now. So we cool them down right now, and then we will see what happens.
So as you can hear, time management is very important to qualifying. And sorry to inform you all, but there are some small raindrops falling down, but very, very small.
Oh, that could certainly spice things up even further. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Because these sets of tyres have to do all 3 qualifying sessions for those that make it through, they have to really think about it and be careful on those tyres. That's why we often see they'll set times in the first session and then instantly slow it down and come back into the pits. No point completely eradicating any grip those tyres have got. You need to just get on with it and well, just take it easy on the bits that connect you to the road underneath. There is Clemens Hecker and the gorgeous number 25 Scania. Fantastic looking racing machine. They've always had these gorgeous racing trucks of Clemens Hecker's team, always with pretty striking designs on them. John Newell's design as well. I love the metallic blue on their machines. The metallic blue of NWT. You can just see how much the truck moves around. It's incredible because sometimes they really do glide their way around the circuit. You know, they look so elegant and they don't really roll around and shake about very much. But they show off a lot of body language to these racing machines. I've had the absolute pleasure and the privilege to go on board with one of these machines in the passenger seat at the Nürburgring with Antonio Albacete in just 2 years ago it was now. And a big thanks to Tim Frost for organising that. But it's amazing at how stable and flat it actually feels from in the cab. It doesn't feel like there's a humongous amount of roll from inside. But at the same time, they are very often sideways absolutely everywhere as the rear axle tries to just find some sort of traction and grip from the ground. They really do slide around quite a lot. Lovely shot there of Luke Garrett. You can see there the all-important element of what that truck is doing through turn 1 is the way that the front wheels lean. So it's not necessarily a camber angle, it's called a caster angle, so that when they turn the wheel and they have to put on a lot of lock, the wheel sort of naturally leans into the corner with it. Obviously you've got so much weight up top from the cab trying to pull the wheels away from the ground. The wheels try and stay flat as best they can. If we ever get more shots of them moving slowly around the paddock or in the pit lane, when they turn the wheels fully right or fully left, it almost looks like the suspension's broken and that the wheel has come off. They are very, very strange-looking things at slow speed, front wheels on these trucks. But it's all down to caster angle and suspension geometry underneath to make sure that they completely have as much of a clean contact patch, as we call it, as they can underneath. basically making sure that the tyre has as much surface touching the road as possible at all times. So we wait now at the end of the pit lane. As it was championship order earlier on, it is now the order of Q1 that they will head out in. And instead of 15 minutes, we get just 10 minutes now for qualifying 2. It's Norbert Kish starting from the front, Sascha Lenz next, and then Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm. I believe behind that it's Antonio Albacete, René Reinert, Louis Requenco, Mark Taylor, Bradley Smith, Clement Hecker, and then Luke Garrett is just parked over on the left-hand side. I think he and his team are a bit further down the pit lane. That's the only reason that they're down there, just waiting to join the queue. But I know after the issues yesterday, Luke will be pleased to have made it through into Q2 here on Sunday. His son Alfie is karting up in Scotland this weekend. Lisa, Luke's wife, is up there this weekend with them. And hopefully, Alfie's doing a good job. He usually does. There you see the green lights at the end of the pit lane. And we head out on track then for Q2 here at the Lausitzring. Just mentioning the tyres as well, of course. It's a new tyre for this season from Goodyear. It's a 55% sustainable material tyre that makes its truck racing debut in 2025. The sustainable material itself is comprised of silica produced from waste rice husk ash. I still can't say it at full speed, I'm sorry. And carbon black sourced from alternative feedstocks. It underscores Goodyear's ongoing commitment to developing high-performance tyres, and it meets competitive and environmental demands too. Don't forget, on top of that, Goodyear also retread the tyres, so when they are done from a race weekend on our racing trucks and no longer considered useful in a racing sense, they're taken to Goodyear's retreading facilities that they have, and the tyres are then sort of recompounded as such and retreaded for road use. So they'll actually go out on the public roads for road haulage on top of that. So the tyre doesn't just have a 25-minute life on a racetrack, it has a life of many years beyond that as well. How cool is that? There's customers out there that may not even know it, that the tyres on their truck are previous racing tyres that were used in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It'd be really cool to know that, wouldn't it? That'd be, I think even in the trucker world, that'd be quite the brag to your colleagues. Well, my truck's got racing tyres on it. What's yours got? As long as they say Goodyear's, it's fine, right? Anyway, Norbert Kish leads us around the penultimate corner. Here's that little moment that he just had there. I was just going to capitalise on this. It's like our director, Sebastian, is reading my mind today. He's certainly got a lot of energy this morning, as our director. I tell you that. He's a lot more awake than some of us, i.e. me. But at the moment, Norbert Kish leads this quartet, followed by Sascha Lenz, Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm. I wonder if Sascha's trying something here to stay right with him. Normally they try and get as much clean air as possible, but he's right with him, and it didn't look too comfortable into turn one there for Sascha. Instantly, he might be regretting that, but it looked like he just skipped and hopped a little bit as he tried to get those front wheels to bite into the first corner. It didn't quite work out for him, did it? There's Antonio Albacete, René Reinert as well in there. Look how close they get to the wall there on the exit of turn 5. We had some wonderful camera angles from there yesterday, and we look forward to more of that as today goes on as well. Fantastic to see the weight transfer of these machines, isn't it? One way, then the other. It's all in good fun as we wait for the first lap times to be completed. This only a 10-minute session this time compared to the 15 that we had earlier. And it looks like Sascha's had a bit of an issue there into turn 10. He's going to be hoping not to get in the way of Steffi Halm, and he's backed out of that one. He now has to go again on another lap. And you can see he's going a little bit slowly there. He might take another lap to cool it down and get things in the right operating window. got a penalty marker under investigation for René Reinert. Truck's number 77. René not putting a valid time on the board yet. I think he's just crossing the line. There you go, 5th place for him. Norbert Kish fastest again, 46.7 this time round. Jochen Hahn 2nd, Steffi Halm 3rd from Antonio Albacete. 6/10 between them right now. But again, I think some of these drivers now will be pretty comfortable with those times that they've set. There's Bradley Smith. Front end having a little bit of a wobble there for a moment. There's Clemens Hecker making his way around. And that's not the ideal line, that, by Luke Garrett. He's going to try and tuck it back on before he hits the penalty markers. You could argue with Michael Marek over that one. He didn't hit a penalty marker, Your Honour. There's Sascha Lenz's issue. You can see the initial turn-in just doesn't work for him. He tries to put more braking pressure on. He does a good job there to stay out of the way of Steffi Halm, but Steffi, I think, just out of precaution, took it a little bit wider than before. Norby and Jochen side by side there on the exit of turn 6 as they head back onto the infield. And there is Louis Requenco. He's currently 2nd fastest in the Chrome class. Mark Taylor is 5th overall, fastest in that class. Bradley Smith, Clemens Hecker, and Sascha Lenz next up. Then Luke Garrett. We have 11 times on the board now. And Stefan Fass is the truck that isn't out on the circuit, of course. Unfortunately, more issues for Stefan and the team. Hopefully they can get that fixed and get him back out on the circuit as soon as possible, because they have had a very rough start to their championship, have Stefan and the team. Sascha Lenz, as expected, trying another lap here. And again, look, you can just see the back end trying to come around. It didn't want to behave itself there, did it? So just recapping on Stefan Fass's season. Sorry, I was just trying to find my results sheet. I've got so many sheets and documents and things, it's a bit all over the place. But Stefan Fass at Misano had 3 DNFs and a did not start. He had a bit of a rough weekend, to say the least. He's had a 5th and a 7th so far here this weekend, getting his top 5 on the board in race 1, but since then it's just not worked out for him. 7th place in class yesterday, but that again was met with slight technical issues that have affected them going into today. René Reinert's time will be deleted, I'm told, for hitting a penalty marker. He's not in the pit lane, he's stayed out on the circuit, so he's keeping the truck nice and cool, just slowly coasting around, ready to line it up for another go. I think he already knew that as well, as he's done a personal best in Sector 1. I think he could see that one coming. They probably just radioed him and just said, look, you're probably going to have that time deleted, mate. Just crack on. Set another time. Top 6 are the ones that go through here, though. Mark Taylor and Louis Requenco from the Chrome class are currently going through. Sascha Lenz and René Reinert in the Titan category want to do something about that. Mark Taylor has gone through into a couple of the Q3s so far this season. He's going to want to do that again. Sascha Lenz then round the final corner. Love watching the truck sweep its way through there. He makes it to the line. He's had a good run on this lap with a personal best in Sector 1 and in Sector 3, and he goes up to 4th fastest. Great job by Sascha Lenz to recuperate after that earlier issue. Antonio Albacete, by the way, has done a purple Sector 2. I think he's slightly worried that he's on the brink of losing the time. Louis Requenco has also done a personal best. They're all pushing now. This could change quite a considerable amount here. Who's going to put a time on the board? Albacete improves to 3rd place. What about René Reinert? Is he going to knock Mark Taylor out of the session? He is. Only by mere thousandths of a second. 9 thousandths is all he manages. What about Louis Requenco? He crosses the line and it is not enough. It is 7 thousandths off his best lap. Almost identical lap times for Louis Requenco. What about Mark Taylor? He's crossed the line. Only improves in the final sector, but it's not enough to save the rest of the lap. Bradley Smith improves. Nothing there from him. But a purple middle sector for Antonio Albacete will give him good confidence. Christina has just messaged saying that she's spoken to Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's father, and they're trying their best to make it out into race 3. So there is an ongoing issue there, unfortunately, that is being worked on. There is Luke Garrett, unfortunately, heading out of qualifying here this morning. Apparently, my shout-outs have done wonderful things for the ego of Alfie Garrett. Let's go back down to Christina and see what she's up to.
Yeah, fingers crossed for the team of Rodrigues. So how is it going? Vai trocar qual parte?
Sim, nós alteramos a embreagem, tivemos um problema de embreagem, não deu tempo para fazer o primeiro treino cronometrado. Vamos sair de últimos e vamos tentar fazer uma boa recuperação, que é isto que a gente pode tentar fazer, não temos mais outra hipótese.
Okay, muito obrigada. So yeah, they're absolutely trying to switch the parts they can in this brittle break. He said we couldn't make it right now to the next qualification round, but they're absolutely confident to entering the race again. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. Thank you, Christina, for finding Jose Rodriguez, a driver that we've had racing with us in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship quite a lot in the past. It was wonderful to have him back on circuit with us just 2 seasons ago at Le Mans, racing with his son Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, as well as they had a 2-truck team on track for that weekend. Back in 2016, they shared the circuit with Eduardo Rodriguez, the grandfather of the family, and had 3 generations on track all at once. How cool is that? This might be a reason why we saw a purple final sector from Bradley Smith earlier. They're cutting through into this next part, into the pit lane. That's the pit lane entry. Although, actually, no, it doesn't rejoin the circuit, so sorry, Bradley, I'm talking out of my backside right now. But that's the bit that heads into the pit lane on this layout of the track, basically. Using the infield. So it's Norbert Kiss, Jochen Hahn, Antonio Albacete, Steffi Halm, Sascha Lenz, and René Reinert going through. So it's all Titan drivers. Mark Taylor will be on pole position in the Chrome class later on, starting 7th on the grid overall, with Louis Requenco alongside him. Requenco going really well this weekend. He's got some great pace about him in that Iveco. He got a podium yesterday afternoon in class. That was his first podium of the season as well. There's Luke Garrett just making his way in. And you can hear now it's nice and calm in the pit lane there. You can see a bit of the wind picking up though with that little awning on the left-hand side. And we're going to go back and speak to Sascha Lenz, who is with Christina.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just running around here talking to Sascha Lenz. P5, you managed another fast lap. How's it going so far?
Yeah, I make 2 mistakes, so then I send a little bit a quickly situation with Jochen and Steffi, and then I make a new lap, so he was a little bit slower with Q1, but anyway we are in Q3 now and I give my best.
Is it enough for the tires to push out another fast lap?
Not for sure in this moment, we'll see later.
Alright, fingers crossed, thank you very much, all the best. So as you can see, they're always discussing the situations, but the truck is in a good shape right now, and we are also in a good mood.
We absolutely are. The sun may not be shining at the Lausitz Ring, but it's all very positive. Not a bad session so far, to say the least. A good bit of movement at the end of qualifying 2 just there. Here's Louis Requenco heading down into turn 1. Lovely looking machine, Louis' truck, isn't it? I really do like that dark green. Mark Taylor's black and orange colours this season, a slight change from their usual black, red and white that they've had in the last few years. Bradley Smith in the Don't Touch Racing Iveco. I think that machine is, visually identical to what we had last year. René Reinert, though, definitely a change of colour scheme for Bellew to blue, funnily enough, from the red that it was in the past. The ex-Norbert Kiss MAN, wonderful looking machine as well. A lot of work around the front end of that truck. Clemens Hecker in this beautiful Scania. I love the white highlights on Clemens Hecker's design. Really shows off the colour changes. And now we prepare for the trucks to line up at the end of the pit lane. As you can see, we've got Norbert Kiss, Jochen Hahn, Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm and René Reinert. Sascha Lenz just making his way down the pit lane, and they make their way out of said pit lane. to get Q3 underway. Now, yesterday we saw on Friday we saw Jochen Hahn take pole position by just over a tenth of a second. Can he do that again here today? He's not been too far off the money in Q1 and 2, but Norbert Kisch seems to have gotten into more of a rhythm here for this race weekend now on Sunday. And we're going to quickly go back down into the pit lane and speak to Christina.
Yes, I'm talking to Stefan Honens right now, and of course, because we talked yesterday to Sascha Lenz, he told us, yes, let's be honest, we can't fix everything this weekend, but how is it going so far? How was the night? Was it short?
No, it's normal. As we all know, we built 2 new trucks during the winter time, and it's always like that. The new things always have to be proven, and there are some issues which we fix as soon as possible, and now there's 1 weekend in between, so we have about a week time to prepare new things to bring to Slovakia Ring, and that should be definitely an upgrade.
Considering the situation, how great was the success entering on the podium then yesterday?
More than expected, let's put it this way. No, it was great to see. It's all going in the right direction, and I'm really sure that Slovakia will be better.
Good luck for this race weekend. Thank you. Back to you.
Stefan Honens, a fantastic character to have about, really lovely bloke and great at explaining things as well, actually. I've had many conversations with Stefan where he's explained the sort of inner workings of these trucks to me, and it's absolutely blown my mind. He's himself a well-renowned truck or racing truck builder as well. Really does know what he's doing, an absolute wizard at making these racing machines. But as he said, it's always the case with new trucks that they need dialing in, they need sort of to prove themselves as the season goes on. And Sascha Lenz and John Newell both building new trucks this season on the same sort of premise as well, similar bodywork designs on them, and they're just making sure that they fine-tune that and get the performance out of it that they need for the rest of the season. But luckily, as they said, they've got a week's break now between the Lausitz Ring and the Slovakia Ring. This race meeting was actually added to the calendar quite late on, only a few months prior, I believe, to the championship starting. So it came as a bit of a surprise to some of them. Look at Norby attacking turn 6 there. That was a brilliant shot, wasn't it? You could hear the tyres just screaming for mercy as they headed in to that left-hander. But this is the time now. They've done 2 qualifying laps already at pretty good pace. The tyres now are being pushed even further beyond that. These are the sessions that, for some of these top runners, this is the one that matters most now. Getting every inch of lap time, every thousandth of a second out of that rubber underneath them. At the moment, it's 2 purple sectors for Norbert Kisch, although Jochen Hahn has gone quicker in the second sector, actually. 27.6 to the 27.7 of Norbert Kisch. If they remain on a very similar sector 3 to each other, they're going to be really close on lap time. In fact, right now, I think they are pretty much only separated by about, trying to do the maths, it's about 5 thousandths in the favour of Norby after the first 2 sectors. This could be really close here. The Reveche Racing MAN powers its way round the final corner, and the lap time in question for Norbert Kisch is a 1:46.836. What about Jochen Hahn? Can he go quicker here at the Lausitz Ring on home soil? Not quite this time. That final sector was really powerful by Norbert Kisch. That half a second was all in the final sector. I can tell you that as a matter of fact. I've got the sector times on my right. And I think Norbert was only about 5 thousandths ahead before that final sector, but then he really drilled the message home. Steffi Halm goes 3rd fastest ahead of Antonio Albacete. René Reinert goes up into 5th. And what about Sascha Lenz? He's not done a particularly bad final sector, but the first sector let him down a little bit there. He was 7 tenths off in just the first sector. Here's a view of Norbert Kisch again. Look at the amount the truck is moving around here on the bumps. He told us yesterday that the circuit's bumpy, and look at the amount of adjustments he's making. Brilliant, brilliant shots there. Love to see it. It's a great angle to have that camera placed at. Looks like Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete have both backed out of their follow-up laps. They're staying out of the way of René Reinert and Steffi Halm. Norbert Kisch has also backed out of that lap. And it looks too like, oh, Steffi, oh, okay, she's staying out of the way of René. Steffi backed out of that lap as well. as now René Reinert makes his way into the final sector. And can yesterday's Race 2 winner pull something out of the bag here? I think the difficulty in overtaking gave a lot of the drivers a lot of confidence yesterday to know that the target they all have their eyes on, Norbert Kish, found it a bit harder to get through the pack than he has done at other circuits. With no disrespect to Jochen Hahn's fantastic defensive drive, of course. He was throwing every trick in the book at Norby. René Reinert will be the final truck to complete a lap here and this weekend at the Lausitz Ring. In qualifying, can he move up ahead of Antonio Albacete? No, he cannot. He was 0.6 of a second off. And that final sector was not one that René Reinert will want to remember. Sascha Lenz there, creeping back round. Looks like there's a bit of dust on those tyres on the outside. I think that was from maybe the earlier session. They do cut across the inside of turns 1 and 2 a little bit. There is Steffi, and this is the moment she backed out of the lap. You see, she just goes straight on there, moves out of the way. René, great awareness that, to just help out your fellow competitors, not to hinder their lap times. If this was Formula 1, I'm sure that Steffi would still get a half a minute penalty or something for that, for being within 100 metres of the other competitor. But still, Norbert Kish makes it pole position once again. And he'll be really pleased with that, especially when he finds out just how close he and Jochen were after the first and second sectors. There you can see the Total Energies bright green fifth wheel, the 100% HVO fifth wheel on these trucks. Needs to just give it a little bit of a shove to get it up onto the weighbridge there. And the technical delegates from the FIA that we have here this weekend, Frans Staalberg and Connie Tolkoen, can do their jobs. There's Connie in the background. And they will check everything out, make sure it's all above board. Shows you just why these scrutineering bays are so big. A good thumbs up there from Connie to Norby. Off you go, sunshine. Thank you, come again. And there goes Bellew. And Bellew is switched off now, actually, as they do other checks underneath, it seems. All that time, René Reinert still making his way back around the circuit. He's at turn 8 now, just coming into the final sector. And not an easy qualifying session, that, for René. But it's Norbert Kish from Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm and Antonio Albacete. Steffi's been brilliant in qualifying this season, like I said, many a time already. She's just completely reinvigorated her pace for 2025. Definitely working well with that truck underneath her. It's brilliant to see. So it's Kish from Hahn, from Halm and Albacete, with René Reinert in fifth place. Good stuff, Chaz. 6th place, Sascha Lenz. Mark Taylor in 7th, ahead of Louis Requenco. Bradley Smith will start from 9th place, hoping to get ahead of both of his Chrome competitors, with Clement Hecker 10th. Luke Garrett is 11th, with Stefan Faas alongside him on row 6. Then it's John Newell and Christian Ruppert, and we can expect to see movement through the order from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez a little bit later on, as he starts from the back of the grid. Let's hand back down to Christina.
Yes, I'm here at the scrutineering. Great teamwork, and also great teamwork from Team Reves. Norbert Kish still got the helmet on, but as soon he's maybe ready to talk to us for this new position as pole setter after the first qualifying on Saturday. And the conditions were really good until the end. No absolutely big raindrops. I don't know if the microphone is working well, so we try to get a bit up front here. Thank you very much, Norbert Kish. So sectors turning purple, and you made it. A great time. How was it the second day on the circuit?
Yeah, much better. You know, it's my first weekend here ever. First time to drive on this circuit. So I had a lot to learn. You know, yesterday, a few mistakes for sure. But now today, I now understand much more, and I know much more what to do. So my laps, you know, are faster and more consistent. So, you know, good. I just try to make a lap, you know, which is good pace and no mistakes, you know, like yesterday, Friday on the qualifying, which worked. So, yeah, you know, for sure a few tenths here and there is in there, but overall I'm happy.
That sounds great. I'm looking to the sky. I'm really not sure what to expect right now. How do you get prepped for such a situation? Could be rainy, could be dry.
Yeah, not much we can do. About that, we will see when we come to the grid and make some decisions about some setup choices if the rain is coming. But I hope not. Because for sure it's additionally would be very difficult. So I hope we stay like this.
Thank you very much. Good preparation then. See you later on the grid. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, everyone is right now in the paddock getting prepared. Also, we heard from Team Rodriguez they're trying to best to fix everything for this race number 3 this weekend. And of course, 20 points are there to give. The pole setter got absolutely great, good conditions. At 11:40, our live stream will start, and we are so happy to be here with you again at 11:40. See you.